don't like us.
They don't like you? Why? Because you're too damn good looking?
We're taking a lot of their people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 363. And this handsome gentleman is my cousin, Matthew Marino. Matthew, say hi to everybody.
Gentlemen, good to meet you.
All right, so Matthew was coming into town for a conference tell him what you do, Matthew.
I run a real estate team out of Pennsylvania, suburban Philadelphia. We're here with Compass Real Estate on a retreat. We're in Atlanta all week having a good time.
Having a good time. So the interesting thing about Matthew, and we'll get to some of the real estate stuff. We're also going to answer some of your business questions. But the funny thing, and this is one of those things where you never know where life is going to lead you, right? And so Matthew, whenever my dad and I would go up to Philadelphia to visit, we'd always go over to his brother's house, John, who's Matthew's dad. And so, you know, one time we were talking, Matthew was there talking to Terry. Terry would always come. And we were kind of talking a little bit about, you know, what we were doing and Menfluential Media. And it was like, well, we were looking for a new, like, sales guy. And so one thing led to another, and Matthew ended up joining the Menfluential team. Now, the downside for Matthew and Menfluential is that all of like my sales, like the majority of the Menfluential business is selling me. Mm-hmm. And so Matthew, a great salesman coming in, but he couldn't sell me or any deals for me because all my dates were booked. And so long story short, you kind of were like, you know what, this isn't working out. And
you fired me.
We fired him. No, we didn't. We said you were the one that were like, all right, tell take it from there.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good opportunity. Honestly, Terry and Aaron were a huge inspiration in the entrepreneurial journey. Kind of saw them doing things on their own terms and decided to jump back into real estate full time and go along.
And so, all right, he said, yo, peace, I'm out. And so you met a guy. Mm-hmm. He said, hey, tell him a little bit of the story, Matt. This is only, how long ago?
This was 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Go on.
So met a really good guy at our former brokerage. We partnered up. We started a team and went over to Compass Real Estate, which has been awesome for us. We grew in the first 2 years with Compass from just him and I to 10 full-time agents and 2 full-time admin. And we did 50 million in sales last year.
50 from 0 to 50 million in sales, and in 3 years, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he's here, and that's why I wanted you to talk to kind of the gentleman. And so once again, guys, you gotta just try a bunch of different shit. And if something doesn't work, you know, and now you're doing videos. Like the funniest thing is I sent you a message that one day about
called me out.
I'm like, Matthew, there's one thing I know hype when I see it. He's like, dude, no, what did you say? You said
you were wrong about that one, but yeah, there's plenty of hype. Yeah.
Okay, so he did hype. He has an incredible Instagram account. We're gonna link to it down below. And if you're in the Philadelphia area and need any type of real estate or potential investment opportunities, you guys have been doing a lot of that. So why don't we do this? Real estate is a big thing. I obviously love real estate. What is something in today's world, you know, the economy's kind of shitty, you know, housing prices are down, interest rates are up. Mm-hmm. Where is the opportunity if somebody wants to, you think, like, get into real estate? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Like, tell people what you're sort of thinking.
It's a good question, and it's honestly, it's a very unique time because genuinely it's a good time to sell and it's a good time to buy. So the market's cooled off for sellers a little bit in the sense that, you know, people aren't paying $40,000, $50,000 over asking price, covering an appraisal, doing no inspections. That has cooled off a little bit, but the fact is, nice, properly priced homes are still selling with really good offers. And on the opposite side, you have buyers who, they have a 7% interest rate instead of a 4% interest rate, but now, you know, you can get the house for a lot less money. You can get in there doing inspections. You don't have to come out of pocket to cover any appraisal costs. And you're really getting your foot in the door to a home knowing what you're getting yourself into rather than a little bit more blind than it was in the past year. So it's really a good time for both right now, and that's what we're trying to get across to everyone.
What about investments? What are some investment opportunities in the real estate world? Because, you know, I've talked a little bit about commercial spaces, right? Mm-hmm. I have a few commercial units. Somebody called me, the real estate agent, the other day about a commercial unit in my current building, like this building, that's gonna be for sale. And I'm like, all right, do I wanna do it? Because like I said, there's another business that we at Salon Post are thinking about. It's actually a med spa. And so just thinking about it and sort of going through the process of do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? Am I going to regret not doing it? I think it's a little bit overpriced right now. But anyway, residential is a whole different world because with commercial spaces, it's a lot more expensive typically in order to get into them, right? You've got to, you find the property, you've got to put down a lot more money typically as opposed to some residential units. What is the opportunity? Where is there opportunity for somebody that's wanting to get started investing in real estate? Where would you recommend they go? What should they do?
Good question. So anyone trying to start getting in investment in real estate, it's really easier than you probably think. We have guys that are 22 years old, 23 years old that just got out of college. They put 3.5% down on a home and they're living with two other friends, right? So there's a ton of, the barrier of entry to investing in real estate can be a lot lower than people realize. We see people close on loans on investment properties that they're going to live in and also rent out the other units in a multifamily or whatever the case is for as little as $20,000, $25,000 out of pocket. And now you have this $500,000 asset, right? So the barrier of entry is a lot lower than people realize. And my advice would just be reach out to a realtor, reach out to an expert, and just learn how to get in the game, and you'll figure out what's right for you.
So one of the questions that I have, I don't have okay, let me back that up. So one of the things that I do that is not highly recommended many people is pay cash for things, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't like having debt. But is there a way, I think a lot of these online people, like the Grant Cardones, are you familiar with him?
Yes.
Okay, so there are a lot of people online that are teaching people how to basically get into real estate and how to do it, with other people's money and you put a little bit down and then you refinance it. What is that game? Like you were telling me a little bit about something that you guys are doing, because you guys are also doing some investments for your agent, or not your agency, but
sure, just out in our community. So first,
how does it how do you use other people's money? Like you put a little, say $20,000, right? You need a little bit of something typically in order to do anything in real estate, right?
Absolutely. So first, Grant Cardone is famous for his advice against owning your primary residence. He tells everyone to rent a house, but what he doesn't let you know that you're not worth $10 billion like Grant Cardone is. So there's different strategies to everything, and overall owning a home is definitely going to be in your best interest. But like Aaron is saying, using other people's money is absolutely an option, especially with an investment. I mean, especially for young guys. I mean, you can easily go out and get a Rolodex of non-occupied homes in your area. You can call those people.
Okay, so there's a great question. Where would somebody go to look for opportunities? Like, is it Zillow? Is it not Zillow?
Not Zillow.
Not Zillow. See, I always go to Zillow every night.
Here's a secret.
LoopNet.
When you see those listings on Zillow, that is automated from your local MLS. So if you see that on Zillow, you're already 24 to 48 hours late. So all of our clients that are on, our drips and are set up with searches, custom searches on the MLS, they're seeing those houses at least 24 hours before you in most cases. So you're
getting the scraps. When you see it on Zillow, it's been sitting a little bit.
And to that point as well, like you, Aaron, you've made it so you're in your community and you get opportunities for off-market properties, like the one you're talking about right now.
Yep. He called me. It's not listed yet. He called me. He's like, "Yo, there's going to be an opportunity. Are you interested?" I'm like, "Well, tell me about it." And then, the thing that I know way too much about this community. And so when he's like, "Oh, there are 12 parking spaces," I'm like, "No, there aren't. There are 10." But anyway, right. So you're saying that the Zillow is bad, but for the average person, they can't go on the FMLS. By themselves.
Sure.
Can they?
No, they can't.
Okay.
Good point. But
so
if you reach out, I mean, there's what's the word I'm looking for? There's a
fig. What? I don't know what the hell you're saying.
So there's a stigma. That's what.
Okay, stigma.
There's a stigma.
Good word.
There's
stigma.
A stigma.
Related to me.
Only have a realtor in your corner when you're transacting, right? When you're looking for a home, you're thinking about selling your house. There's no reason for that, right? I mean, you don't only speak to your accountant once a year. That's a bad example. You probably do.
I speak to him too much because
so if you have someone in your corner that works in the industry, all they do all day long is uncover properties, uncover opportunities. it doesn't cost you anything to be part of that person's community.
And it doesn't cost you anything. Like if you have a realtor, everybody knows a realtor,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so here's the next question. Shit. I've got too many questions. What's the difference between a good realtor and a bad realtor?
That's how long do we have? That's tough.
Okay.
In every market, you're going to have a handful of really good realtors and a lot of really bad ones. Unfortunately, the barrier of entry to get a real estate license is very low, right? You take, 72 hours, you go past a test, you're a realtor.
Okay.
I always harp when you're looking to hire a realtor, one, it needs to be someone that's full-time, that does this full-time. Don't hire,
I think I saw a video on this that you did.
I did.
Okay, keep talking.
So
Matthew does, and like I said, guys, his Instagram will be down below. He does a lot of videos about this and how to find a better. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's no reason to not hire a full-time realtor. In most cases, overall, it doesn't cost you anything more to do so. To use someone like me and my team who are doing this all day, every day, as opposed to
Betty Sue, who's got 3 kids and she's doing this moonlighting on the side.
Or it might be like a phys ed teacher and she sells some houses in the summer.
Okay.
It's a totally different ballgame. We have connections in the community. People reach out to us with listings just like they do to Aaron because they know that we have legitimate buyers. So I would say partner with a realtor in your area who focuses on these things and has other people doing what you want to do, right?
And then the question then is, so everybody knows a realtor, reach out to a realtor and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And then their job is to find you assets, right? Yes. I mean, that's I'm looking for, a duplex, a single family home, this is my budget, this is what I think. And they'll be able to go and look for you because, that's just basically money that if they can find you a deal or something, they're going to come to you and be like, hey, what about this? And once you do that a few times, you're going to become a lot more valuable to them, but also you're going to start to build a little bit of street cred. And then other realtors are going to bring them deals, hoping to basically make the connection with you because you're starting to flip assets or you're buying them and renting them or whatever. So in terms of rental units, single family homes versus a duplex versus a triplex, what would you recommend?
Honestly, what I would recommend is get with a lender, get with a realtor, figure out your financing for whatever investment property you're trying to do, and then make a decision based on whatever's going to cash flow for you. Because if that's your only goal, it really doesn't matter if you have a single family, if you have a duplex, a triplex, whatever. There's different types of financing available for each unit, so that goes into it, whatever kind of property you're purchasing. But overall, it really depends on your goals. Do you just want something that cash flows? Are you just looking to break even on a monthly basis, which we have some younger guys doing just to build up their assets and they have their mortgage paid by some tenants in there. So it really depends on your goals. Go over that with a lender, your mortgage guy, your realtor. And then to go back to your question, Aaron, a bad realtor is just going to set you up on an MLS search and then wait for your call.
Yeah.
A real professional, a real full-time career-oriented realtor is going to have your back, and they're going to go the extra mile to find you something off market to really prove their worth. Because at the end of the day, if I'm just setting you up an MLS search, Betty Sue can go do that.
Yeah.
Just as good as I can. So find a realtor, find one that is hungry, that's going to work hard for you, and find one that's doing it full-time.
And have good credit.
Have good credit. Have good credit.
Credit, right?
It's a whole nother video. Yeah, but
credit?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Start there. It's a good place to start.
Start with the credit. Because that is one of the things that's you guys know that. I mean, this is a business vlog. You understand the importance of having good credit, whether or not it's a business and you're trying to get, people to lend you money so that you can actually buy inventory and not have to pay out of pocket, or you're trying to buy an asset or your own home, which is one of the other reasons why it is a good idea if you are an entrepreneur to have a W-2 or to get some type of payment and have your business actually pay you some type of salary, so that if you are going out, because like I mentioned a few vlogs ago, a bank isn't going to be like, okay, they're going to be a lot less likely to lend you money if you're like, hey, I made $500,000, here's my distribution, and you're an LLC, so it all flows through to you, as opposed to if you're taking $70,000 as a salary, that's something you can actually look at, and then you can have additional income, come out of a distribution. So I personally feel, and this is something that was hard for me to wrap my brain around, because as an entrepreneur, you're always scared to take money. You're like, let me just leave it in just in case. But if you're trying to build yourself into, if you're trying to build credit, you need to have some type of pay structure and W-2 in terms of just in order for them to feel comfortable lending you money. It needs to look a little bit more professional, like you have a real business.
Yeah.
Right?
And we kind of learned that through trial and error too. I mean, when we first started, we just had all of our commissions kind of going in our personal accounts and flowing right there. And yeah, our accountant is pretty hard on us.
He's
the
no.
last 2 years.
So Matthew.
Yes.
We've got a few business questions.
Okay.
Ready to tackle it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This first business question is one that I asked Joey to ask again. It's from our friend Joey Jordan, Pure Water Sales. What's up, brother? He says, I have a family member who's like a brother to me, wanting to quit his state job, making close to $100,000 a year because the job is stressing him out to the point it's affecting his health, which that's obviously a bad thing. He's wanting to come to work with me, but he has zero sales experience, no real marketing experience, or anything to really bring value to the company. I feel the need to help him because he's the closest I have to a brother, but I'm terrified that he will fail and his family will suffer because of it. Sales is hard when you have no guarantee. What do I do? I'm gonna let you take this first, Matthew.
So, with this question, honestly, it's a little trying to wrap my head around it because it's kind of backwards as to how I would expect it, right? So your friend has a job where he has a comfortable salary, making some good money, a state job. My question is, why is he so stressed out at this job that to the point where it's affecting his health?
Good question. That's a good question.
The
Why?
reason my head goes there is because I cannot imagine quitting, leaving your salary, going on, strictly eat what you kill. I can't see that being less stressful. But I mean,
here's one of the problems. He sees his friend Joey being successful, and it looks like that sounds better. I could work for you. I could work for my friend. I could do this, and it's not that hard. How hard could it really be?
Yeah.
That is dangerous, if I'm being honest. The other thing it's dangerous for is your friendship. Because if it doesn't work out, then that totally skews everything because he's going to possibly blame you. And the unfortunate thing is if he's had like a government job, he's gotten accustomed to the bureaucracy of working for the government or having a job that it's really difficult to get fired from. Yeah, and so his motivation and his, just I don't know that his work ethic isn't good. I obviously don't know that. You would know that better. I think this is a really dangerous situation. What I would probably recommend to you, Joey, is give him something to do, right? Keep your job. Like, have him keep his job because that's also a lot of pressure on you. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure on you to try to provide him leads or to provide him the experience or the sales training or the tools that he's going to need in order to be successful because he's got to hit that $100,000 hurdle in order to basically just break even. And he also has health benefits. He also has a lot of other perks that come along with working for the man as it would be. And so I would probably give him some jobs, like in terms of, okay, here's a person that I want you to talk to or some type of sales. You need some way to gauge his ability to do the job and also take orders and direction from you. And so I think that it's not just a black or white zero-sum game like I'm either working for the man or I'm working for you. Maybe there's sort of like a hybrid scenario that he can keep his job and see if he actually likes doing what he's doing and you actually feel like he's going to be good. But like we've talked about before, Joey, it's also hard to find really good people. And so if you find somebody, like you just posted something the other day about experience and it doesn't mean, what is it? Tell them.
We focus our business around surrounding ourselves with good people. If it's a really good human with good principles, they're going to follow our core values, we'll teach them the rest. But that also comes along with knowing, what kind of daily activities they need to do to make some money in this business. So, Joey, one other thing that I might tell you is tell this guy to use 3 or 4 days of PTO with his state job and ride around with you. Do your sales route. Let him watch you get kicked in the ass and get 14 no's for a yes, right? So let him see that firsthand. explain whatever your appointment was like, explain, all right, I'm going to make X amount of dollars on that.
Joey's also a hustler. Joey's been in the gutter. And so Joey knows, exactly, what it takes in order to be successful. Like he does a bunch of different side things. I mean, Joey knows that you've got to work in order to basically feed your family.
Yeah.
Your friend, might not have that same mentality because he's been comfortable in this job. Yes, he's stressed out. He might not like his boss. He might not like what he's doing. He might feel like, the grass is always greener kind of thing, right? When the truth is, it's hard as hell anytime you do anything where you're selling or you're making a change. And so, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Drive around. Let them see what you actually do. And
my first thought, I mean, this kind of pains me, right? Like as an entrepreneur, my first thought with this question is, hell yeah, burn the boats, go all in, sell your ass off, figure it out. But I just don't see a world that's going to be less stressful than a state job making a six-figure salary with benefits and everything like that. I don't see it.
Yeah, man. Joey, great question. This brings me to the next point. Gentlemen, if you have a business question, down below, start with business question. Unfortunately, if it has to do with real estate, I probably can't help you and he's not going to be here next week. But you can always ask and I can give him a call and ask. And like I said, follow him on Instagram, guys. We're going to link to it down below. The next business question comes from our friend Jonathan. He says, is it necessary to have 7 streams of income? I remember watching videos on YouTube that said that I need more than one income, where they talk about how to get rich, not Grant Cardone. That's funny, it's a Grant Cardone, right? And do I need to collaborate with people on YouTube once my professional channel grow? Once my if you're not sure, that's fine. I don't understand the second part, Jonathan, but I can tell you this. Do you need more than one stream of revenue? It depends. It depends on you. It depends on what you're doing. For me, having all my eggs in one basket before and that basket falling and all my eggs breaking was not ideal. Now I personally feel more comfortable having different streams of revenue, knowing that, okay, if this goes away, I'm still okay. If this goes away, I'm still okay. And so for me, having a few different streams of revenue is definitely something I would recommend if you can. You were talking in the car about, trying to set up other auxiliary streams of revenue, not just having to sell houses, 100 houses, when you're 60 years old, right?
That's some burnout, yeah.
And so talk a little bit about your philosophy in terms of how you can diversify a little bit in a specific niche without having to do like 2 separate things, like Pete and Pedro, Tiege Hanley, influential media, so talk a little bit about that, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely. So what we do is we leverage other streams of income, but they're all surrounded around real estate. So title company, we work with different investments, we do all kinds of things to leverage what we already have going on to have other streams of income. But what I will say, while it's always a great idea to have as many as you can, I would say get very, very good at something. Get very, very good at one coming in very fruitfully, flowing to you before you kind of spread all your wings and start scattering all over the place and focusing on so many other things. When you get really, really, really good at one, I feel like a lot of times those other streams of income kind of naturally flow just from what you already got really good at.
100% agree. And that was with me, with YouTube, it was just focus on one thing really well, do that. And then the other kind of things, I tried things, some didn't work. You were talking about the fashion anchor that you still love. Fashion anchor.
Oh, I don't have, still. If I had a button up, I would have the fashion anchor.
Still an amazing product, not right for me. But yeah, and then these other opportunities will possibly come along. But yeah, get really good at doing something. And one of the other reasons why that's such an important message is because one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs do is they think, I'm going to try this, but I'm also going to try this. And I'm going to do this, and we'll see what happens. Well, unfortunately, all of your attention, all of your time, all of your bandwidth has been spread to these auxiliary things as opposed to focusing all of it, or the majority of it, on like one thing and figuring that out before you try to figure these other things. And so what happens is none of the 3 work because you're half-assing all of them as opposed to focusing on the one that you love, the one that's actually producing some results and getting really good at that.
Yeah, I totally agree. It kind of goes back to your I'm going to prove to you I do watch your videos. Back to what you were saying about Enemy. You realize, you know, you wear so many hats, you have so many exciting things going on. You're competing with these people who breathe sunglasses day in and day out, and it doesn't make much sense.
That's it. And yeah, like, what am I going to do? I've got all these different businesses. One I'm treating like a stepchild, and even though it did, you know, well, it wasn't going to move the needle for me in the way that I needed it to move the needle for me to be focused or having attention on it. Hang on, Matthew. I got. That was the only business question, or the only two business questions. But there may be. You don't have an answer for that? That's the only one. Okay, so this is where we're gonna wrap things up, guys. If you dug this video, drop it. Whoa, one of these. Hang on a second. All right, where were we? Okay, so here it is. Armand Inadar. I butcher every name, so sorry for butchering it. Thanks for being here. He says, "Hey, Aaron. What do you feel about buying expensive watches like Rados?" I'm not sure what a Rado is. "They do not hold their value, but are considered a symbol of class in India." So what is your thoughts on buying expensive watches, Matthew?
It's kind of twofold. I mean, I do believe in purchasing some things. I do believe in purchasing watches, but I mean, the second part of that is, I mean, you're telling yourself already they don't hold their value. My advice would be I wouldn't, you know, go broke trying to look rich, but it's really up to you. If you can comfortably afford something and it's important to you and it's not going to stress you out on the other end, then go for it, is my opinion.
I would like to say that I also agree in terms of I will buy something nice, but I never buy a watch or anything thinking about the resale value. I mean, they've always been the kind of like just things that I bought. And I've lost my ass on some of my Rolexes, the White-Face Daytona. I bought it for like 12,000 bucks. I sold it to a guy for 8,000. I used that 8,000 to buy my Yachtmaster. And now that watch is like worth like 50 grand or 40 grand or something like that. So I definitely did something bad. But that being said, if you are and you know that watch that you're talking about is going to drop in value like automatically, that might not be the best decision. There are certain brands that automatically lose their value. Omegas, boom, down. And that's just one. There are certain brands like Rolex, and one of the reasons why I love Rolex, and you do too, Matthew, watch check. That is the Yachtmaster, very sexy watch. That bezel is actually platinum bezel. I am familiar. One of the upsides of buying a legacy brand and such a classic brand like Rolex is that Rolex does hold its value. And so if you're going to spend $2,000 or $3,000 on, you know, a rando or whatever it is, what I would do is I would go on a pre-owned website like Chrono24 and try to look for something even though it's going to be used or pre-owned, it's still going to be a little bit higher value than one that you know that's going to drop really quick. Something else I will just mention real quick. When you people do notice watches. And so being a realtor, you know, there are two things, well, there are a few things, but one of the things is an automobile, right? In terms of if you're driving or meeting people, you want to have a decent automobile in order to show that it's kind of, you know, a little bit of a symbol of success, like you've been successful at this. Would you agree?
I would agree. I would agree to an extent. Yeah, you want to show people that you've been there and, you know, that this career is being fruitful for you. So hopefully they, in turn, assume that you're pretty good at it. But again, I would err on the side of present yourself, your automobile, whatever, in just clean, you know, just a respectful way that you take care of your stuff, and you should be fine. But yes.
Yes. Watches also another symbol that I've always been like real insecure around, like a lot of people that I felt were either more successful or whatever. And that was one of the things that I noticed when I bought a nice watch, is that when I put it on, I automatically felt like I had a little bit more street cred and I was going to be taken a bit more serious. And so psychologically, it's really weird, but you know, it made a difference. And I know it's stupid, and I would literally sell all my watches today and have no problem doing it if I needed the money. But you also just need to be smart, be safe, and not do anything too risky. And like Matthew said, you just got to make sure you shouldn't go broke trying to look rich. That was good. I'm going to steal that.
You like that?
Good job. Gentlemen, that's where we're going to wrap things up. We love you more than our double monk strap shoes. Peace. Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.
Now that Atlanta lost, go Phillies.